Good afternoon and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here today with Gracey and Rich, and unfortunately we're videoing inside today in the puppy playroom because it's raining outside, so Gracey has the luxury of doing her video indoors. Now the first thing that we want to take a moment to introduce is the training equipment that we're using. Rich is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he keeps the bulk of the leash folded neatly in his right hand. That leaves his left hand free to give any correction that's needed, and the only correction that we give is a little tug and release on the training collar. That is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Gracey's going to come home with her very own training equipment, and we'll go over how to use that with you during your follow-up training session tomorrow. Now Gracey's sitting very nicely at Rich's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done. And the first exercise that we're going to demonstrate for you is heeling. Heeling is proper leash walking, and the command is Gracey heel.
Gracey heel.
Now at this point, Gracey has a job to do, and that is to maintain pace with Rich and sit automatically when you stop walking. So even in this small space, she's doing very well at matching pace with Rich and sitting automatically when he stops his feet. So when you're walking her down the street, she should be staying right with you. If you change direction, she should do the same. And when you stop, she should sit without being told to wait for her next command. So this makes walking her a pleasure. She's not walking you.
Gracey heel.
And she looks up at you and pays attention to what you're going to tell her to do next. If for some reason she doesn't sit automatically, you would tell her no sit, but she's doing a great job.
Stay.
Now the next command is the sit stay. Stay is a hand and a voice command, and because it is a stationary exercise, it is a one-word command. The long sit stay when you're practicing at home is to lengthen out your time and the distance that you can go.
Stay.
When Rich returns back to her, as an additional distraction, he walks all the way around her. He stops at her shoulders because at this point she expects to get another command, and they take off heeling again. And I think kind of what it demonstrates when we're doing this indoor training is that she can do all these things in a relatively small space, and you don't have to go outside to practice. So if it's too hot, too cold, raining, you can still practice your commands. Rich leaves her in another sit stay. He walks out to the end of his leash and he turns to face her. And this time, instead of returning back to her, he's going to demonstrate the come on command.
Gracey, come.
It's Gracey come. She comes right in and sits facing your knees, and you use your leash as a guide.
Gracey heel. No.
She has her only bad habit is that she likes to use her front feet.
Gracey heel.
So she may have been taught to give paw or to high five, and those dogs are the ones that always want to use their front feet.
Gracey come. Stay.
Rich leaves her in another sit stay, turns out to face her. This is one command that you do use her name, but you don't want to go over the top.
Gracey, come.
She comes in and sits. That was beautiful.
Gracey heel.
And then she goes back to heeling again. Now the next commands that we're going to be demonstrating for you are her series of down commands. And if you remember, there are two. The first one is the down from a heel position. So with her seated, you take your left open palm, push it straight down toward the ground, and give the one-word command to down and stay. Don't move your feet before you give the command. Give it right from that heel position. And she's capable of doing a long down stay. Rich returns back to her just as he did on the sit stay, and then he heels her out of that, and he will demonstrate that for you again. And the reason he said no is because she was dropping her head, and once a dog has dropped their head, you've lost control.
Gracey heel.
So you want her head up and paying attention to you. Not on the ground, sniffing everything, picking up sticks, which she's more than capable of doing. Rich will demonstrate that down again.
Stay.
He backs up to the end of his 6-foot training leash.
No.
Now she
Down.
got up and she wasn't
Stay.
supposed to. So first words Rich got out of his mouth was no, and then repeated the command, down and stay. And this time he will call her out of that.
Gracey, come.
Very nice.
Good girl. Gracey, heel.
And the very last command that we're going to demonstrate for you on your video is your down from a distance. So you are going to leave her in a sit stay when Rich is ready. You leave
Stay.
her in a sit stay. You turn to face her. You're going to use your right hand to give the command
Down.
and drop her into a down from a distance and give her a stay. Now we have demonstrated for you all of Gracey's formal on-leash obedience commands. Rich will have a packet of information for you. She's been a pleasure. She's been a very nice guest, and we've enjoyed having her. We want to thank you again for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company, and we will see you tomorrow.